What's up YouTube? Eric Vasquez here from Teach Me to Design, and today I've got a brand new video for you where I'm going to be showing you the best way to create procedural, non-destructive neon text in Adobe Illustrator. Now this video is going to be very useful for creating a whole bunch of different text styles that you can use and reapply to your work over and over and over again. So before we get into today's video, please go ahead and smash that like button and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, let's go ahead and get started and jump into Adobe Illustrator. All right, so let's start off by firing up Adobe Illustrator here, and I'm just gonna create a new document. It's very basic, 8 inches by 8 inches, and I'll set the artboards to 1, and then you just wanna make sure that your color mode is set to RGB, and then go ahead and click Create down here in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, once you've created your document, it should look something like this. And you'll probably see your layers panel over here, but if not, you can access it by going to the window menu and choosing layers from the drop-down. So what I'd like to do next is select my rectangle tool, which you can do by pressing M on the keyboard, and then double click. And now I'll type in a value of 8 by 8 so that it's the same size as our artboard and click OK. So now we've got a white fill with a black stroke, and I'm going to position this so that it matches up with the edges of the artboard, and then I will press Shift and X on the keyboard to switch my stroke and fill colors. So over here on the side, you should see that I have a white stroke selected. I'm going to change that to none. Then I'll press X to get my foreground color here, my fill color, excuse me, and I'll double click on it because I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's not quite black. It looks more like a rich CMYK black, which we don't want for this particular lesson. So instead, I'm just going to drag that all the way down here to the bottom left, so that it's more of an RGB black, and then click OK. Now double click on the layer 1 text, rename it to BG, and then we're going to lock this layer. All right, now let's go ahead and add a new layer. Press T to get our type tool, and then let's just go ahead and type out the word ultraviolet, or any word you want really. I'll press Command A to select all, and then change my fill color to white. Grab my selection tool over here in the upper left-hand corner of the toolbar, and then click and drag while holding Shift to scale up our text. So from here, I'm going to change the typeface, maybe something basic like Avenir, Avenir Next, something that I think most people probably have on their computer, but you don't have to use this exact same typeface I'm using, but just be aware that when you're creating neon effects, it generally works better with sans serifs or script fonts. So what I'd like to do here is create a copy of this by holding Option and Shift, and then I'll click and drag. And first, I kind of want to show you the way that I think most people probably create outer glow effects in Illustrator. And that would be, once we have our text, going to the Object menu, clicking Expand, and then basically converting this into a shape. From there, you might end up going to the Effect menu, choosing Stylize Outer Glow, maybe putting in something like a hot pink color or orange or anything like that. And then if you zoom in, you can see that we have a subtle outer glow. But if I press C to copy it, Command F to paste it in front, I can intensify the effect. Then by going to Effect Outer Glow, I can apply a new effect and change the parameters here. All right, so I'll go with something smaller like 0.25. Let's go like 0.8, reduce that to maybe 25, something like that, right? It's nothing too impressive, pretty run-of-the-mill looking effect. But the problem with doing it this way is that in order to actually get that effect to show up, we do have to convert it into outlines first. So if I were to apply it just to this, my live text, you can see it's not actually working. It doesn't work on live text. So that's very important to keep in mind. So let's go ahead and get rid of that because I'm going to be showing you a better way, a non-destructive way to do this, to create a style that you can reuse over and over again. All right. So now let's grab our live text here. And what we want to do is come up to the window menu and choose Appearance. So we're going to grab our Appearance panel. And in my opinion, this is a pretty underutilized feature in Adobe Illustrator, and it's really quite powerful. And you'll notice right off the bat that it's actually showing our outer glow effect that we tried to apply before, but let's just go ahead and drag that to the trash can because we don't need it yet. We're actually going to start off by adding a solid fill color here. And what we can do is click on this little arrow here in this drop down, and then we're going to select the swatch options, all right? Or you can just click to make a new swatch. All right, and then I'm going to change this to maybe like a bluish color, right? Something like that. The values I'm using here are 0, 160, 255, or the hex value 009FFF. And then I'll go ahead and click OK. Now what you can do is come back down here and you can add a stroke to this. So let's go ahead and click on the Add New Stroke box at the bottom, and that's going to add a stroke on top of our fill. So let's go ahead and double click on that, and we can open up our swatch here. We'll click Add New Swatch or just New Swatch. And then I'm going to change the settings or the parameters here of that color as well. Okay, and it's now added a stroke in this new color. And if I zoom in, you can see what's happening here, right? So I can come in, I can change the stroke to maybe 0.5 to make it a little bit thinner. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add another stroke on top, or you can use this empty one here. And again, I'm going to double click on it, select that same stroke color, but this time let's go ahead and make it a little bit thinner, so like 0.25 maybe, and I will also change the color. So I'm going to create another new swatch, make this one even lighter, and here I'm using a value 148, 233, 255, or a hex value 94E9FF. You don't have to use these exact settings, I'm just letting you know what I'm doing here. All right, so now you can see that we're stacking these things on top of each other, right? So I can increase the weight of this first stroke that I added, and then I can see what's happening here. It's really kind of overlapping, which is interesting, but I don't want that. So what I can do is select my top stroke here, the thin one, and click on the FX icon at the bottom and choose Path, Offset Path. Now for this, let's go ahead and enter a value of maybe 0.25 pixels. Okay, and what that's going to do is offset that stroke. Now this is a really powerful feature. And what I love about this is that it's fully customizable. I mean, you can see everything here that we're doing. So if I wanted to, I can come back to my original fill color here. I can click on that swatch and I can just very easily update it, right? So what I can do now is select my fill, come down to the effects icon here and choose Stylize Outer Glow. And this time, if I modify the settings here a little bit, let's maybe change this to 0.25, and we'll make this a nice saturated light blue color. You can see that we're starting to get a nice blur effect here. So click OK. And now if I duplicate this, just drag it down here to the plus icon, it's going to intensify the effect. But I can come in here, choose Outer Glow, and I can play with these settings a little bit more. Right, so maybe I want to do 0.05, something like that. So I basically now have two instances of this outer glow color on both of our fills, and we have two strokes with an offset path. Pretty cool. Okay, and now what's really nice is if I zoom out, all I need to do is change my text. I didn't have to convert it to shapes to get these nice looking neon effects. All I had to do was work in a non-destructive way using the appearance panel. So if you want to, at any time, you can come back in here, you can modify these settings, and you can really create some cool looking results here. So again, I can go ahead and duplicate the fill again, and that's just going to intensify this effect further. So the real beauty of this, though, that I want to show you guys is that in order to reuse this over and over again, you can open your graphic styles. And if you don't see this tab here, you can go to Window and then choose Graphic Styles from the dropdown. Now, once you've landed on something that you're happy with in terms of your effects and this stack here, all you need to do is click and drag this to your layer style, and it's going to save it as a preset. All right, so for example, if I go ahead and type out a whole new word here, like hot, okay, and then I'll change it to solid white, scale this up. Even if I pick a different typeface or weight of typeface here, I can now just click on that graphic style and it's going to apply the exact same settings, effects, everything that we had before. Okay, so it's a really cool way to be able to reuse this effect however you want. Okay, it's awesome, it's non-destructive, it works really well, and it allows you to basically save a bunch of presets that you want and have them ready for you anytime that you're working in Adobe Illustrator. So for example, let's say I just wanted to start from scratch, right? I'm going to get rid of all these other graphic styles in here. Just keep the one that we just made. Let's say I have, 4, 5, even 10 of these. What I can do is click on the little hamburger menu here in the upper right, go down here and choose Save Graphic Style Library. Now, once you've done that, you can save this as your own custom library of presets. I'll call this, Eric Neon FX. And so the next time I come into Illustrator, if I don't have this here, let's go ahead and delete them. And we'll just change these back to regular fonts here, regular type. I'll go to Open Graphic Style Library, User Defined, Eric Neon FX, and it's now going to load my preset. Pretty cool, right? So just to recap here, this is really a very effective and cool non-destructive way to create neon effects or really any kind of text effects that you want in Adobe Illustrator. And it doesn't require you to convert your text to outlines, causing you to have to recreate the effect every single time. It saves your preset so that you can use this effect over and over again anytime that you're working in Illustrator. So hopefully you found this tutorial useful. If so, go ahead and smash that like button. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Let me know if you enjoyed this tutorial or if you'd like to see other tutorials like this. Thank you so much for joining me today and for watching. My name is Eric Vasquez here for Teach Me to Design. We'll see you next time.